Well, round one of the NFL draft is in the books, and it's time to give you some updated Dynasty rookie rankings. A lot of things happened. Some things we didn't see coming, and some things that were written in Sharpie that ended up panning out. There was a big trade at the top of the draft. Let's talk about how it impacts Dynasty rookie rankings. In my tier one, still sitting alone, is Ashton Jeanty. He's the only player in this tier. Again, he went 6th overall to the Las Vegas Raiders. And I want you to think about this for a second. I want you to think about this because I wholeheartedly believe Ashton Jeanty is about to walk into 320 plus touches as a rookie. Think about it. What were the best teams that Pete Carroll led in Seattle? What did they have in common? Well, they had great defenses and they ran the damn football. And with Ashton Jeanty, there's not a single soul in that backfield that is going to take touches away from him. He's going to drown in volume. And I want you guys to have a look at running backs that were drafted in the top 10 since 2014. That is the last 11 years. Look at these running backs that were drafted top 10. This is a complete list. Obviously, Ashton Jeanty joins them, but Bijan Robinson in 2023, Saquon Barkley in 2018, Leonard Fournette and Christian McCaffrey in 2017, Zeke Elliott in 2016, and Todd Gurley in 2015. Oh my God, could you imagine getting one of these guys as a rookie and having them for 5, 6, 7 years and dominating your entire league? This is a Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson level asset, a tier 1 running back in the entirety of Dynasty football from day one. Do not overthink it at the 101. At the 102, we said that Omarion Hampton is going to be on his own tier at the 102 if he went in the first round, and that's exactly what happened. I'm not going to front. I did think the Denver Broncos were going to take him, and I was very disheartened when they passed on Omarion Hampton, but thankfully, he went to arguably an even better landing spot in Los Angeles with Harbaugh. We know how important the run game is there, both with him and his offensive coordinator, Greg Roman. Yes, Najee Harris is there, but let's be honest, it's a 1-year deal. It's about a $5 million contract. There is no indication that that is any more than backup money. I mean, that is backup money at the running back position. You should not be scared off from Omarion Hampton because of Najee Harris. Sure, in week 1, maybe the touches aren't exactly what you want to be, but by week 10, you're going to be thanking the heavens above that you have an elite asset like Omarion Hampton, who will be a top 5 running back in Dynasty rankings from day one. If you look at the historical hit rates for a round 1 running back, if we look at star status, which is a top 12 points per game season for quarterback and tight ends, and a top 24 points per game season for running backs and wide receivers, the running back position has an 86% hit rate. By far the best, safest bet that you can make in your rookie drafts is a round 1 running back. I'm so thankful that Omarion got in there. And if you take it a step further, and we look at superstar status, now we're moving that to a top 6 point per game season for quarterbacks and tight ends and a top 12 point per game season for running backs and wide receivers. That hit rate for the running back position is still astronomically high at almost 79%. And you'll see the rest of the positions completely fall off. Omarion Hampton, yes, sure, you can make an argument that some other people might have a higher upside in a superflex format, and these are superflex rankings, but I believe this is the safest pick you can make with plenty of upside baked in. All right, I mentioned this before the draft, but it's how I feel even now after day 1. Tier 3 for me is going to be one massive tier of players. I think you can make a strong case that tier 3, there are 10 players worthy of being at the 103. I'll narrow that list down and be a little more specific to about 7 that I'm going to put here in tier 3, starting off with Cam Ward. Now look, I've made it very known publicly that I am not the biggest Cam Ward believer. I'm indifferent. I don't dislike the guy. I think he makes some really rough decisions, but he has plenty of, time to grow. He has all of the natural abilities. He's shown to be a good leader. But I always said if he went number 1 overall in a superflex format, if he truly does, we got to consider him in that top 5 of our Dynasty rookie superflex ranking. So he gets the number 1 overall pick. Even if he doesn't do well in his first year, we know the number 1 overall pick has a long leash with the franchise that drafts him. Right after that, this is where I'm going to have 2 wide receivers tied as of today. That is Travis Hunter and Tet McMillan. I am still working through, to be honest with you, exactly which way that I lean. Right now, I do slightly lean Travis Hunter, and let me tell you why. And by the way, just as worthy of the 103 as Cam Ward, in my opinion, these 2 guys we're about to talk about. But Travis Hunter, let me be 100% transparent and honest with you, okay? Let's be real for a second. No one, and I mean no one, can truly tell you exactly how this is going to pan out for offense. You have never been in a position before in a Dynasty rookie draft where you've had to ask the question, how much offense will this player actually play? So I can totally understand anyone out there who is going to be hesitant on Travis Hunter. However, I've heard enough for now to consider him as my wide receiver 1A/B with Ted McMillan. Okay, let me explain. Give me a second here. You ready for this? We're going to break this all down. All right, first off, the Jags selected Travis Hunter number 2 overall. Hunter is the highest drafted wide receiver since Calvin Johnson, okay, and the highest drafted cornerback in the common draft era. Why am I telling you that? I'm telling you that because he is a special player. This is special sauce. This is the A1 stuff you keep in the cabinet for the special guests when they come over, all right, to impress them, all right? And look at the trade itself. The trade is actually insane what the Jags paid to go up and get Travis Hunter. It speaks to how important he should be to their team, including offense. Guys, they sent away the 5th overall pick, so they went up 3 spots. They gave a 4th and a 2nd, as well as a 1st in 2026. I want you to think about this for a second. Guys, the Jags have been the bottom dwellers of the NFL for the past decade, and they said, you know what? That guy right there is going to make such an impact on our offense and defense, and on our offense, that we are going to send our 2026 first-round pick to move up 3 spots to secure his services. That should tell you how much they believe in him, okay? Shout out to Jory Epstein. She said on the ESPN broadcast that they basically asked Travis Hunter, are they going to let you play wide receiver and cornerback? And Travis Hunter said, they told me they were going to let me do what I do. They put me on the phone with both coordinators. Okay, that doesn't tell us yet exactly what they're doing. But Adam Schefter came out and reported they will onboard him by giving him a heavy dose of the wide receiver position while still playing him more at his natural position on defense. Okay, and then the coach spoke. Right after the NFL draft, they had a little press conference, and Liam Cohen, they asked Liam Cohen, they said, hey, Liam, how do you project his usage? Where are you going to use him? How's that going to look? And Liam Cohen, I said, and I quote, he'll primarily play offense to start. And then we have to be fluid, he said. We have to be fluid, but he's primarily going to play offense, and then we'll see how much we'll put him into the defense, okay? So look, logistically, if you think he's actually going to play both sides of the ball, well, on average, there are about 63 snaps per game in the NFL on both sides of the football. Well, I can tell you that in college, Travis Hunter averaged 118 snaps per game. So if anybody is a unicorn, the guy who did it all last year and won the Heisman, 1,400 receiving yards while locking people down, if anybody can do it, it's Travis Hunter. And think about the target share here, okay? The target share is going to be funneled through 2 players in Jacksonville, Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter. There's no Christian Kirk. There's no Evan Ingram. It's going to be those 2 guys dominating target share, okay? I asked my audience when we were on a live stream, I said, what percentage of snaps do you think Travis Hunter is going to play on offense? And this was before Liam Cohen said what he said during his press conference. 26% of them said 80+% of the snaps on offense. 70+%, there was 33% of our audience who voted for that, and 35% of our audience voted for 60+%. Then I asked them, okay, who do you prefer? Do you want Travis Hunter or Ted McMillan? And a vast majority of my audience said Ted McMillan. And the reason they said Ted McMillan is because, look, Zach, I got to be honest with you, man. I'm making a pick here high in my rookie draft. There's a lot of risk associated with Travis Hunter, and that is totally fair. And what their opinion is, and it might be your opinion, is when I'm drafting Ted McMillan, I'm not asking how much he's going to play on offense. I know he's going to play a vast majority of the snaps on offense. That's exactly how they're going to use him. I don't need to ask that question. So if you're out there and that's where you stand, I don't mind. This is why I'm totally open to tearing down from the 103, get me to the 105, and I'll take any of the guys who are available. If it's Hunter, if it's Ward, if it's Ted, I'll be more than happy, and I'll ride home with an extra asset, all right? We're going to add on to this tier 3 because I think it's very big. We're going to include names like Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins. They did not go round 1. However, even if they go round 2, the hit rate is astronomically high, around 71% hit rate. Round 2 is still very good for a running back. So there's plenty of teams that need a running back still that pick in round 2. The Patriots come to mind. The Bears come to mind. The Cowboys, the Broncos, the Commanders, the Chiefs. There's still plenty of landing spots for both Henderson and Judkins to land into to be great assets in that top 6 of our Dynasty rookie drafts. All right, moving on. Staying in the same tier, let's talk about Colston Loveland. Now, if you're a fan of the channel and you've been watching me this offseason, I have had Loveland as my tight end one in my rankings since November. And I know there's been a lot of pushback on that. And it's just draft night. So who knows exactly who's going to have the better career. But it was my belief that if you're looking purely as an offensive weapon, Colston Loveland has the sauce. All right. He has the stuff that you can't teach. He has these God-given abilities, these traits that these GMs are looking to be a true game-changing elite threat for you on the offensive side of the ball, right? Colston Loveland is the definition of that for the Chicago Bears. By the way, Colston Loveland set a Michigan single season record for catches by a tight end in 2024 with 56, and he ranked top 5 in yards per route run amongst tight ends in each of the past 2 seasons, according to PFF. And if you look at the hit rates for tight ends, again, a top 12 points per game season, 80% hit rate. We love to see that. Very safe bet. And if we go a step further and look at superstar status, we're talking about a 60% hit rate. Again, very safe when you go to that superstar status level. So Colston Loveland, been my tight end one since November. I was so happy to see Ben Johnson agree, and he's going to remain my tight end one here today. Draft with me every night this offseason on the FastDraft app, where there are over $250,000 in prizes waiting to be won. Getting started is easy. Download the FastDraft app, use the promo code LAND at signup to get your deposit match up to $50. That is 10 free drafts on us. And when you finish your first real money contest, I'll send you my 2025 rookie report and season rankings completely free. Check out the link in the pinned comment to start drafting today. All right, next player we're going to talk about here is Matthew Golden. Man, I'm in love with this landing spot for Matthew Golden. I don't know about you guys, but I am all in on this landing spot. This is perfect for him. When you look at the offensive weapons in Green Bay, right? Christian Watson goes down with the injury. Dontavion Wicks can't catch a cold in Green Bay, the coldest city in the NFL, maybe, okay? Romeo Doubs, I'm sorry, but just a guy to me. And Jaden Reed, a good slot receiver, but clearly someone that both coordinator, head coach, and quarterback didn't think they could funnel their offense through. Now, not only did the quarterback, coach, and offensive coordinators think that, but so did Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs said recently, we need a wide receiver, a real wide receiver. I love the guys we have, but we need a proven number one. Now, look, I don't know if you can really call Golden like a true alpha number one, but I do think he can play outside for them, and he will instantly be their best wide receiver the day he steps into Green Bay. As in, he's already in Green Bay because of the draft, but like the day, he joins the team, right? You know where I'm coming from, right? And by the way, this is the first time since 2002 that the Packers have drafted a first-round wide receiver. So it shows how much they believe, because this is not typically what this organization does. They typically wait till round 2 and develop. They believed in Matthew Golden so much, they said, you know what? We're going to take him in round 1. I'm so excited for his future. Film guys love him like me. Insane hands, great route runner. He can stretch the field. I see a ton of T.Y. Hilton to his game, a ton of Emmanuel Sanders to his game. But of course, the analytics guys, if you're a spreadsheet dude, then you might not be as obsessed with the Matthew Golden. All right, we're going to go into tier 3B. Now, here's the deal. I'm calling this 3B because I still think like Jackson Dart, for example, is in this tier. He's the first one. Let's talk about him. There's no reason in my mind why in a year from now, if Jackson Dart actually hits in New York, why he couldn't be just as valuable as anybody in tier 3. Now, obviously, there's a question mark because there's a lot of development for Jackson Dart to have had, right? But if you're at the 103 and you want to tier down, this is why I'm separating these tiers, because you should get more when you tier down to 3B than when you tier down within tier 3. Let me know if that makes sense. But Jackson Dart, obviously the Giants traded up for him. It was reported that they really loved him and they went out and did that. This is Daboll's guy. But the trade they made is very low risk. I was very impressed. I kind of hated it as a Commanders fan. I wanted to see the Giants pay more. All they had to do was pay their second, 99, and a third-round pick. So basically 2 third-round picks. I thought that was very cheap to go up and get their guy. Jackson Dart, there's plenty of reasons to be in, plenty of reasons to be out. However, what I will say, here's why he's in 3B and not in 3. Why there's a little bit more risk associated with a name like Jackson Dart. Okay, so you look at quarterbacks. They have a 62% hit rate in round 1. That looks great, right? But what about when we get more specific? When we ask the question, what about quarterbacks who went round 1, but were from pick 20 onwards? because clearly if you fall to pick 20 onwards as a quarterback, there's not much as much belief in you in the NFL overall as there is when you go number 1. All right, top 5, top 10. So I did the research for you, and I can say that there were 6 quarterbacks drafted in the last 11 years in round 1 from picks 20 onwards. Here are the 6 quarterbacks. You ready for this? Kenny Pickett, Paxton Lynch, Teddy Bridgewater, Johnny Manziel, and then the 2 that hit, Jordan Love and Lamar Jackson. Okay, so it's a 33% hit rate. Not great when you get very specific, but there's a lot of development there. And to be fair, Jordan Love and Lamar Jackson both were able to sit and learn. And I believe Jackson Dart's going to be able to sit and learn as well. Next, we have Tyler Warren. I'll be honest, I think I'll have a lot of Tyler Warren this year. Yes, I had Colson Loveland as my tight end one this entire offseason, but I think what's going to happen is there'll be a big flip in the community and you'll be able to get great value on Tyler Warren this year. He falls to the Indianapolis Colts. You know, last year we were very anti-Adonai Mitchell because he was playing with Anthony Richardson, but we're another year removed from that. And I believe that the Colts have already shown us that they are willing, you know, to look at quarterback more seriously. They brought in Daniel Jones. They're going to have him compete with Anthony Richardson. But the reality is, if either of those guys aren't good enough, they're going to find a replacement again in 2026. They have shown us they're willing to do that. Furthermore, if you look at the Colts and all of their offensive weapons as well in Indianapolis right now, please, someone tell me in the comment section, what weapon in Indianapolis is stopping Tyler Warren from breaking out and becoming the number 1 threat in their offense? It's not Michael Pittman, all due respect to him. I love Josh Downs, but he's not stopping Tyler Warren from being the guy in Indianapolis. Adonai Mitchell's not doing it. Alec Pierce isn't doing it. Yes, there's plenty of good options, but there's no elite option. And why can't Tyler Warren develop into that? Maybe quarterback play, but I think by the end of the season, I would not be shocked at all if Tyler Warren is leading this team in target share. So you can get him at a discount, but maybe I should move him up with the Colson Loveland tier. This is all fresh. I'm going to change my rankings again in a couple days when I start to really digest everything. But I think Tyler Warren's going to be one of my favorite buys at the end of the first round. Speaking of a player that you're going to get a big discount on, oh man, nothing hurt me more in the first round. I think you know where I'm going. Nothing hurt me more than Emeka Egbuka going to the Tampa Bay Bucks. For so many reasons, this is confusing. You just re-signed Chris Godwin, who dominates out of the slot. Emeka Egbuka can play inside, outside, but primarily play in the slot at Ohio State. You have Mike Evans on the team already. Jalen McMillan broke out last year. There's so many reasons to say why. Why would the Bucks do this? If you look at team needs, wide receivers probably bottom 3 on their entire team, right? But the reality is we need to play the long game with this, all right? And we are starting to get better and better and better. Last year, this time on this channel, if you guys remember, if you were with us, we asked you to be patient with Ricky Pearsall. And I'm going to ask you again, be patient with Emeka Egbuka. I think it's a very similar situation, but I think Egbuka is an even better prospect. Be patient. Here's the deal. It's a crowded wide receiver room. There's no doubt about it. Let's look. You got Mike Evans, Godwin, Egbuka, McMillan. However, even though Chris Godwin is under contract, shout out to Dave Richard here, he does note that Mike Evans is a free agent next spring. Now, again, still confusing because it feels like you have 3 guys who would dominate in the slot with McMillan, Egbuka, and Godwin now, but maybe they believe that Egbuka can play outside. I mean, to be fair, Justin Jefferson at LSU played primarily in the slot as well. So maybe they believe he can translate outside. But regardless, first round draft capital, okay? Talented prospect, safe floor. This is a wait and see. If you're out there and my number 1 draft pick for rebuilders and 1-year punts last year was Ricky Pearsall and Michael Penix, that is how I'm feeling this year for Emeka Egbuka. He is that name for me. All right, one more tier we'll talk about here. Luther Burden and Caleb Johnson. Both of these guys obviously weren't drafted just yet. If Caleb Johnson goes round 2, we can consider him around the Judkins, the Hendersons. But if he goes round 3, we might have to reassess. And then as far as Luther Burden goes, there's so much unknowns right now. I think he could go to Tennessee in the early second round. The Patriots could make sense. There's plenty of places that you could place him. But without the round 1 draft capital, even though I said I loved Luther Burden, and I still do, I was very, I would say, fair in saying that if he doesn't go in round 1, I will have to reassess him. And right now, I can't really rank him. I'll have to wait to see where he goes. To finish the video, we're going to talk about one of my biggest fallers and one of my biggest risers. Without question, the biggest faller in Dynasty rookie drafts after day one is Shedeur Sanders. Okay. I have been very adamant in saying that if any quarterback, if they don't go in round one and they have no rushing upside, I will not be touching them in Dynasty rookie drafts. Again, we'll look at the historical hit rates for a round two quarterback, 12.5%. Truly awful. Only Jalen Hurts has hit in the last 11 years. I'm sorry, but Shedeur Sanders is probably dead to me in Dynasty rookie drafts. You can take him, but he's probably dead to me. All right, the biggest riser, though, is Matthew Golden, and we talked about all those reasons why, how much he meant to Green Bay, and then also just the opportunity ahead of him to be the number one guy there in Green Bay. But I appreciate y'all watching. Do me a favor, like the video, subscribe. We got plenty of content coming out in the next couple days around the draft, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Nothing but love. Last thing I'll say here, just real quickly, is our 2025 rookie report will be updated here right after the NFL draft. So to all of our members on the Flock site, that will be updated very, very soon. All right, we'll see you guys here very soon. If you're thinking about supporting us in this economy, that's big love, and you deserve love in return. So for every yearly Mother Flocker member who uses the promo code LAND, we're giving out a free team playbook, our 2025 rookie report, access to all premium tools, free site vouchers, and of course, a huge thank you from the LAND crew. You're far too kind. That's love.